You've been lied to, not out of malice, but out of ignorance, by movies, stories, even your own instincts. You were taught that women are gentle by nature, loyal without reason, and nurturing no matter the cost. But what if that's a beautifully wrapped illusion? What if the truth, according to Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, is far darker and far more useful? This is not a rant. It's not an attack on women. It's a survival guide. Because behind every loving gaze, every soft smile, and every whispered, "I'll always be here," lies a shadow, a primal force you were never meant to see. But if you do, you'll never see love, pain, or betrayal the same way again. Carl Jung, one of the founding fathers of analytical psychology, didn't view female nature through the lens of culture or sentiment, but through the harsh clarity of the unconscious mind. What he discovered was unsettling. He argued that the commonly held image of woman as eternally nurturing, emotionally pure, and romantically constant was not only inaccurate, it was dangerous. Because it blinds men to the psychological battlefield they unconsciously walk into every time they fall in love. What Jung identified beneath the surface of femininity was not evil, but primal calculation. A woman's love, contrary to cultural myths, is not unconditional. It is strategic. It is adaptive. It is rooted in survival. And that doesn't make women cruel. It makes them human. But this survival instinct is often hidden even from women themselves, behind what Jung called the feminine persona, a mask, a masterpiece of deception. Women evolved not to conquer through brute force, like men, but to survive by navigating the emotional terrain of others, especially men. Over generations, they refined the ability to appear vulnerable in order to attract protectors, to mirror desire to inspire loyalty, to adapt identity to maximize safety and resources. This feminine persona, Jung believed, is not worn out of wickedness, but out of necessity. It's the biological software of survival. It's why many men have felt blindsided. The same woman who once adored you, who made you feel like a king, can seem to emotionally vanish the moment you falter. Not because she stopped caring, but because something in her instinct whispered, "This man can no longer protect us." Jung named this dynamic the FEMA trap. Men fall into it because they project their own emotional desires onto women. A man sees a woman cry, open up, or seem fragile, and assumes emotional depth. He thinks, "She gets me. She's vulnerable. She's real." But often, what she's offering is a performance, one she's not even aware she's giving, crafted to keep you close, invested, useful. And here's the cruel twist. The more emotionally available a man becomes, the more the shadow tests him. The moment a man breaks down emotionally, financially, or socially, he risks being abandoned, not in a dramatic explosion, but in cold withdrawal. Her affection isn't taken back with violence, but with silence, with icy distance. And the man is left confused, desperate to return to the warmth that once felt so real. This is the maternal bargain, and Jung saw it clearly. A woman's unconscious evaluation of a man's genetic and social value dictates her emotional availability. It's not personal, it's primal. Just as a lioness does not stay with a weak lion, a woman's shadow self cannot maintain affection for a man who fails to meet her instinctual requirements for safety, dominance, and strength. This drives what modern men recognize as hypergamy, the biological imperative in women to secure the best mate possible, even if that means emotional whiplash for the man she once swore she'd love forever. She might initially fall for a man's potential, but if that potential isn't realized, if he doesn't rise in power, status, or emotional fortitude, her instincts will quietly begin to pull away. Here lies the heart of the shadow war, an internal battle between a woman's conscious persona and her unconscious shadow. Jung believed that the shadow is not inherently evil, but it is dangerous because it operates in the dark. And women, often more in tune with emotional subtleties than men, may become agents of that shadow without realizing it. This is why some of the most outwardly sweet, gentle women may unconsciously wreak havoc on a man's mind. They create emotional chaos, provoke instability, and sabotage harmony, not out of intention, but instinct. Jung called this emotional alchemy, turning a man's loyalty into desperation, his care into obligation, his love into entrapment. And it's not necessarily because they're unhappy. In fact, it's often because things are too peaceful. The shadow craves emotional movement. If a man is too stable, too predictable, too giving, it stirs something ancient within her. A test. Can he handle my chaos? Can he survive my storm? If not, he's not the one. But this isn't a call to fear women. It's a call to understand them. Jung didn't uncover these truths to vilify the feminine, but to arm the masculine. The man who sees the shadow is not bitter, he is dangerous, because now he knows the rules. Now he knows how to respond. The first law: become her mirror. Don't argue, don't plead, don't chase. Reflect her behavior without emotional reaction. If she plays victim, respond with indifference. If she brings chaos, become calm. A woman's shadow respects what it cannot manipulate. The second law: outsource nothing. Never make a woman your therapist, your compass, or your emotional lifeline. Jung understood that a man's inner world must be sovereign. The moment you need her for validation or identity, her instincts must crush you, because she cannot trust a man who leans. She respects a man who stands alone. And the third law: weaponize your shadow. Embrace your inner darkness. Channel your lust into creativity, your anger into discipline, your fear into self-sufficiency. The nice guy is easily controlled. The integrated man, the one who has faced his own monsters and made them kneel, he cannot be moved. He is not cruel. He is not chaotic. He is calm, clear, and terrifying to a shadow seeking control. The world does not need more broken men, endlessly apologizing for their nature. It needs men who are emotionally sovereign, psychologically literate, and shadow integrated. Dangerous not to others, but to manipulation, to deception, to emotional slavery. Understanding female nature does not make you cold, it makes you conscious. You begin to see patterns where there used to be confusion. You stop bleeding for ghosts. You start leading yourself. And so, the choice is yours. Remain asleep, romanticize illusions, and fall prey to forces you don't understand, or wake up. Study the shadow, own your own, and become a man who cannot be bent, broken, or lost in the emotional chaos of another. Because in the end, Carl Jung's warning was never about fearing women. It was about preparing men for the truth, the war, and the power that comes after. If you've made it this far, you've already done what most men never will. You've opened your eyes to the truth, not to hate, not to fear, but to see clearly. Love is not owed, loyalty is not free, and peace is not passive. It is earned through knowledge, through discipline, and through self-mastery. You now carry a weapon most will never even recognize: awareness. And once you see the shadow, you can't unsee it. So the question is, what will you do with it? If you're ready to go deeper, to sharpen your edges, and become the kind of man no shadow can bend, subscribe. This isn't just a channel. It's a crucible for dangerous men, for sovereign minds, for those who refuse to be prey. Click subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the brotherhood of men who refuse to bow to illusions. Until next time, stay sharp, stay sovereign, and above all, stay dangerous.